Welcome back to the Live China Music Podcast. So happy to be here. Hi, Ellie. How you doing, my man?
Well, I caught the flu when I got back from Finland immediately.
Yep, that'll happen. We are a bit in a flu season because I do sense we're finally shifting to pretty much leapfrogging autumn into winter here, it feels like. The seasons are changing, everyone, and just keep aware of your surroundings, and better yet, let's be aware of the new music coming out.
Exactly, seasons are changing and music's are coming. So we're gonna cover some new releases as we usually do here today on the Live China Music Podcast. And we're going through a few different tracks today. There's going to be a little bit more electronic music than we had in the previous episode. Let's start with someone I think you're really excited to talk about. I know you've written about them quite a few times in the past. And this is Guzz. And the track that we are covering today is 漫长暑假, Slow Summer.
Whimsical, man. I love it. I mean, I will admit this track in particular isn't the best representation of what Guzz brings to the table, but for some reason this track has been just tickling me all week long just because of just how infectious that little hook, I guess you could call it, is.
Let me step in here for a minute. Just before, I mistranslated that Manchang is actually endless rather than slow. So endless summer, and you can really feel that from the track. There's some joy in there. And as you were saying, we can take a step back to talk a little bit about Guzz and who he is. I mean, he's electronic music producer from China, and he's actually from Hainan. It's an island south of China, which is also known for having beautiful beaches and a few surf spots. And I know Guzz was based in Beijing for a long time, but I was looking at his Bandcamp and it says he's in Chengdu now. So maybe
Chengdu, really? I believe it actually is Shanghai. I believe it's Shanghai now.
Oh.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he's already jumped ship over to Chengdu.
Well, it is a cool city now.
Yeah, touche. So, yeah, I mean, I think what Guzz is kind of known for is this kind of very earthy, dreamlike blend of traditional Asian sounds with this IDM kind of soundtrack electronic music that's very lush, very narrative. A lot of his tracks like go on for 10 minutes. They're whole journeys within themselves. And it's just really good, fun music to kind of just get lost in.
What I've heard in the past, and I think also for the rest of this album, is like very layered, and it's very slow and easy going. So this track is a bit of an outlier in terms of being a little funky, a little groovy, and just more danceable, whereas the rest of the record, I would say, is more quiet. And is that also your impression of it?
Yeah. I mean, when he first got started, he was kind of working with the Do Hits crew,
right?
Which like included acts like Howie Lee and stuff. And back then, like everything had more of a dance mentality to it. Like these were tracks made that could be played in clubs and whatnot. But as he went further along, he started slowing down a bit, and kind of really leaning into these longer, slower pace, kind of more epic tracks that you are very much layered. And he's taking traditional instrumentation, but he's creating traditional instrumentation via electronic music. So he's not exactly like using traditional instruments as samples. A lot of the time he's recreating them within his hardware.
Right, so that,
which I always thought was pretty cool.
So yeah, he's doing live sets, right? So he's not just plugging in a USB when he's performing, and he's harnessing all of that hardware, right?
Yeah. And he's using more and more lyrics, and he's bringing in singers a lot more. And as you said, like, while he's based everywhere, he is originally from Hainan, and he's been bringing a lot more of that into his music, a lot of those traditional songs and melodies into his music. I mean, he's busy. He's like basically putting out an album every year, and they're all just gorgeous kind of records to jump into. So like, if you just go to his Bandcamp page, you'll be sorted out for a good week.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how to get to his Bandcamp, you can just click on the episode description. We have show notes, and there's links in there. You can just click and head on to the artist's Bandcamp. When we have it, we'll just put it up there.
Awesome. So yeah, let's keep the electronic vibes going with our next track, where we head to Xi'an.
Xi'an, and I'm really excited about this one.
Sparkle, formerly known as Fake Orgasm. It's sad to see them lose that name, but I can understand why they were probably forced to disregard that name. But Hexen Sparkle, and the track we have,
自我革命, Self-Revolution, and it's by Hexen Sparkle. Let's have it now. Once again, as per usual, I'm surprised by what you can find, and I actually have heard of the name of the previous band name, Fake Orgasm. I guess I hadn't heard them before. I'm always interested in seeing what's going on in like the underground and women-driven music scene, and this is a really interesting discovery for me. And they're pretty straight up about what they're talking about. I mean, it's clear what they have on their mind and what they want to share.
Yes, this is very much a feminist punk band, essentially. Very much in the same vein, I guess, as from your region, South Acid Mimi. Very much a kind of abrasive, blunt, kind of just just kind of grips you and kind of just tells you to shut the fuck up and listen up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's also I see they've been espousing a lot of like electronic production of heavy beats, pretty raw stuff that's carrying what I feel like an intensity and an urgency. And it's a bit, in Yunnan, besides, South Acid Mimi, they were kind of pioneers in this. But you also have today, there's Run Rabbit Run, which has also a similar synth-based, heavily electronic production-focused music, which deals with similar themes. I don't know if there's other bands that currently relying as much on the electronic side of things, because I know like in the punk, more the purely like more traditional, what we have in mind in terms of punk, you've got Dummy Toys and Xiao Wang. These bands are also very interesting. But do you know of other bands that are more espousing the electronic side of things?
On the electronic side of things, you freaking threw me a curveball there, Ellie. Let me think for a second. On the electronic side of things.
Yeah, not being like purely electronic based, because for example, Diner came out with a record recently, and she does tackle some of these themes as well. But because I know Run Rabbit Run, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's the same for Hex and Sparkle. There is a lot of you stage live kind of element on it. It's not DJ sets; they're live sets.
Yeah, this is definitely a live set. There's 3 members, and so it is very much like a one person's taking care of the electronic stuff, and they passing the mic back and forth. They're screaming at the crowd. This is very much a Death Grip style, just kind of blast of energy coming from their live shows. And I would imagine seeing this live would be so much more rewarding in many ways. But it is kind of great to see this, as you say, this kind of new wave of female artists singing about what they know, and just, oh gosh, I'm starting to sound just dumb.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're gonna start mansplaining now.
I know. I know. Gosh, I should just shut my mouth.
Yeah,
take me out back and whip me. Jeez.
I'm keeping that in. Yeah. Anyways, I think it's a cool project. I enjoyed the album. Encourage everyone to go and check it out. Yeah. Okay. Let's. Next track is by Fish. It's a collaboration. The next track is.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah. Between Fishdoll and Zhou Shijue. And we're switching gears a little bit, going to a different genre of thing. Let's have it. The track is 我的幼儿园原有。
我的幼儿园原有，我们既像漫画《龙珠》里的孙悟空，也像四大名著里的孙悟空，头顶光环，经历荒诞。我的幼儿园原有，我真的相信我能飞，像《玩具总动员》里的巴斯光年。我的幼儿园原有，我慢慢理解了什么是沧海桑田。我的幼儿园原有，那时你还不知道什么是爱，什么是迷幻，现在你感觉已快走完生命的一半。我的幼儿园原有， 战争的残酷无法被完全描述，只有4个字能说清楚，自己去看。我的幼儿园缘由，在我父亲的回忆记述里，小时候青黄不接的季节，人们的肚子经常挨饿，我想这个时代精神上也是这样的。我的幼儿园缘由，你的眼泪会掉落在一张信纸上面。我的幼儿园缘由，你会看到这个时代的资源大多用在了错误的心智上面。我的幼儿园缘由，鲸鱼也会笑吗？长颈鹿也会哭吗？蜜蜂的心里也会苦吗？我的幼儿园缘由，你总能数出无数。
This was 我的幼儿园缘由, my kindergarten school friend. So this is a collaboration between Fishdoll and Zhou Shijue, 2 artists that are, I think, working together for the first time on this record.
Yeah, believe so. Really kind of an awesome pairing, if you ask me. Fishdoll she kind of broke out with her past 2 releases. Kind of a electro soul singer-songwriter. Very much like, I guess, some mix of Flying Lotus, Little Dragon, and Moonchild. Just really good hip-hop bass kind of electro jazz stuff. It's hard to say, but like she has that voice that is perfect for this kind of music.
And so the other half of this collaboration is Zhou Shijue, who's a hip-hop artist who's been involved in Itsogu, if I'm saying this right.
Yeah, arguably one of the biggest hip-hop groups to come out of Beijing, or I mean China, with, on that basis. Kind of very much old school hip-hop, very jazz hip-hop influenced. And he's kind of been like all over the place. He's done numerous album collaborations with Jay Fever, who we've talked about plenty of times on this podcast, and very much in that vein of just that smooth subconscious kind of flow that really is a nice contrast to, I guess, some of the more abrasive hip hop that you could come across.
And the lyrics in this track are quite interesting. He's reminiscing about times as a kid in kindergarten, and being superheroes, and having interesting questions like, do whales laugh and do giraffes cry? And just thinking a little bit about what's going on today. He's also mentioning how times have been changing, and how society has evolved in China between his father's generation and when he was in kindergarten, and what's going on today. So interesting also in terms of the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, exactly. On the surface, it might come off as a kind of adorable, nostalgic kind of look at the past, but a lot of good subtext within these lyrics. And I mean, I know you love that reggae beat they got going here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have a lot to say about this, because there's reggae, and there's trying to do reggae. It's this is a bit too straight beat I mean, it's an approximation of reggae is what I would say.
Yeah, so I mean, I do see that Fishdoll is actually the producer as well for a lot of these tracks, which is pretty cool. Jack of all trades. But check out Fishdoll's releases on Bandcamp. Really cool stuff. She's put out stuff with labels based in New York City and whatnot, and really, really cool artist to just jump in with on.
Yeah, I feel maybe my take on the reggae part of it is a bit harsh, Should I
look at Ellie already backtracking.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not backtracking. It's maybe I need to express it in a different way, that the reggae aspect of the track, it feels like they wanted to harness the feel, the energy of reggae music, which is great. And I see, I was doing a little bit of stalking on Zhou Shijue's Bandcamp, and I saw that one of the albums or like artists that he's been following is Sri Raja Rockers, which is a great Thai reggae band. So these guys definitely have an appreciation for reggae. It's nice to see different interpretations of what reggae can be.
Cool stuff. How about one last grasp of the summer with some nice, supple dream pop from one of our strongest bands we have in the genre. This is Endless White, who hail from Xi'an, with the track Humid Summer.
Woo! Okay. Humid Summer by Endless White.
This band's been around quite a while. This band was one of my first kind of entries into the shoegaze scene here in China, and I mean, and in many ways, the shoegaze scene in general. They've come a long way. They've upped their game quite a bit, and they've really pushed out their dream pop sound into just different realms of sonic wavelength. And I really think they're really doing it in a good way. They're not phoning it in at all. They're just they're adding just so much dimension to their sound, where, like in this case, very much a synth wave kind of big epic M83 by way of Kate Bush kind of way.
Right. It also reminded me of a track we talked about last episode, which was by Zoogazer, this city pop feel. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, there is very much I think it's a bit meatier, has a bit more of a atmosphere than a lot of city pop music. I mean, I don't say that in a detrimental way, but I do very much see the synths, particularly the synths, have just very much this city pop kind of vibe to it. Even though I do think it's a much fuller, much more ethereal sound.
Right. And I was thinking about this feel, humid summer. It's heavy, but at the same time, it's aspirational, or maybe there's a form of escapism in there. I was thinking a little bit about the history of city pop and the context of it, and I don't know if it kind of relates to something we can see in China today. I feel like maybe there is a moment happening now which is a little bit similar. So that city pop in Japan, it came out in the 70s when a generation had come out of the Second World War, working very, very hard all the time. And in the 70s, there was an economic boom, which is not happening in China today. But there was a whole side of the population. There was there were a lot of people who started to think about, whether this way of life of hard work in the city, constant intensity and stimulation was the right way to go. And so the original city pop of Japan was a reflection on that. And I'm wondering if some of the music we're seeing coming out of China today, such as this or Zhou Shijue's track last week, kind of participates into this conversation as well.
Wow. Deep. So deep, Ellie. I think you're grasping at straw men here. But I do like that read. I don't know. I think it's just being exposed to more music. And I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but I think there's just a lot more bands and artists today have their tastes have been more refined over the years, and they have a broader spectrum of music they enjoy. And I think they're finding new ways to evoke and bring in these influences that might have, shifted their mindset over the past decade or so.
Oh, I agree with that. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of musicians in China today who have a more sophisticated read on what's going on in music in general, globally. Which also, you don't have that kind of raw, weird stuff that was happening in the 90s. It's very rare to see that kind of thing now. But you do see a lot more sophistication in the music production and the influences that they might borrow from.
That's a good way to put it. I think, sophistication is, there's so much going on, like within, especially Endless White's this EP and their last LP. There's just so much more going on dynamically, and it's great.
Nice. And our penultimate track for today's episode is going to be by a band called Alone Together. And this was 花园墙外, outside the flower gardens, like outside the wall of the flower garden, I think. I think would be a translation, by Alone Together. Where did this band come from, Will?
They're based here in Shanghai. Young band, only been playing for a year and change. One of my favorite new bands to kind of emerge here. I mean, I love this jangle pop. It's just melodically, it's so pleasing, this song to me. It kind of hits that alt 90s sweet spot for me. Very much a record that's embedded to like all the, Sarah Records catalog, to Yuck, a band that they, cover often in their sets. It's just put together so well. I mean, it's so simple yet so pleasurable, and it just works for me.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have to do really complicated stuff or try to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you just need pleasant music that you can listen to on the train, you can listen to at home, in your bedroom. Sometimes, you just need something simple and nice and pretty. And I think that's what they've accomplished with this.
There's a earnestness, a sincereness. It's very big-hearted without being like coy or without being trite. It works. Like it gets in there, it does its job, and you just find yourself kind of humming along to it by the end of the track.
How does it play out live?
Play out live? I would say that live, they come in with a bit more conviction. I don't want to say, I mean, just a bit more slacker rock pop to it. They're not afraid to go loud. They're not afraid to turn up the reverb, and but they, live it's just as good. Like it's so magnetic, and just how smooth and rhythmic they are, and their songs, like they're just so many of their songs, like I can already sing in my head pretty much.
Well, that's testimony to a well-written song. All right, now for a swerve ball with an artist, a band that we've been wanting to feature in the podcast for a while, and didn't happen, but now we can finally discuss a little bit of Fluflafen. It's Turkish Coffee, featuring Sean Moore by Fluflafen. So, Will, did you feel the Fluflafen on this track?
Falafel?
So this is a track that's out of the latest album by Fluflafen, Feel the Fluflafen Part 3. The title is Turkish Coffee. And it certainly feels like, drinking a really strong coffee. It starts nice and smooth. And then as you go, it starts, getting you a little bit more excited, right?
Yeah, it becomes a bit more unhinged, a bit more audacious, and it's such a playful brew of just free jazz, prog rock, avant-garde. It's all, it's so well done. I really enjoy everything this band has to offer. They're kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of band.
And it's driven by a number of musicians that we've known for some time. It's not surprising to see them be audacious and so creative and prolific. Maybe you want to introduce a few of them?
So the core three members of the band, you have Haiti, who mainly, goes on clarinet, but it's, like a lot of these guys, they're not against grabbing any instrument within their vicinity, but usually on clarinet, Haiti. You have Yuka on guitar and Yanni on drums. These three are very prolific, very much mercenaries, I would call them. They're just top-notch musicians, however you want to paint it. And they all have various projects they play in and whatnot. But when they come together, it's just kind of magic. It's this improvisational in the fullest sense, kind of a high wire act of just people just giving it all.
This is, I think, the third album in this Fluflafen Part 1, 2, 3. This project is one that has been ongoing this whole year. I don't know when they recorded it, but they've been releasing it throughout this year. In basically a 3-parter that you can find on Bandcamp as well, and that's just exploring this experimental jazz vibe, and just I think having fun with the toys they have at hand, and just very talented musicians.
Yeah, and as with a lot of tracks on this album, they do bring in lots of guest musicians. On this track, they have Sean Moore on violin. They do say in their liner notes that part 3 is them leaning into the spiritual style of improvisation. I guess it's got a more world music vibe to it, I would say. And it's great. The whole album, just get into it. Just take the journey. Come on, folks. Do yourself a favor. Get wild. Get after it.
Yeah, get in there. And so that was the last track for today's episode. And we're also going to release a new special episode soon, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We have a special guest here from Shanghai. We're going to be sitting down with Jason, the curator of the annual compilation, We Are Shanghai. And so we're going to talk all things Shanghai. It's going to be great.
Yeah, looking forward to this too. And in the meantime, have a good day, have a good night, and catch you soon.
Thank you, everyone, for following. Again, check for links below if you want to check out any of the acts we've mentioned today. And stay tuned. We'll be back with more new music coming out of China. Thank you for listening.